Hello dreamers, my name's Lisa and I'm the Dreamwork coach. In this video, which is the second in the Dreamwork 101 video series, I'm going to talk about all of the different types of dreams that we can have and how each one of them can be valuable when it comes to dream work. According to the National Sleep Foundation, each person usually dreams about 4 to 6 times per night. While the majority of us forget most of these dreams, the ones that we do remember can be a gold mine when it comes to dream work. A lot of our dreams are influenced by what's on our mind when we go to bed. These standard dreams, for lack of a better term, are excellent lenses in which to view what our subconscious feels about what's happening in our waking lives. But there is a lot more going on in the dream world than just these standard dreams. Once you get deeper into the practice of dream work, you'll start to see that you are also having many different types of dreams. And you'll begin to see the value in each type of dream firsthand. So let's get started. This is Marty. Look at them. Say hi. The first type of dream on the list is the standard dream. These are the dreams in which we are processing the day's activities and like what's been on our mind. Like the things that we just experienced in the past day or two or even a week or so can show up in these dreams in really symbolic and very often bizarre ways. These dreams are able to point out different stresses or anxieties we might have going on, or even they might even showcase like a budding romance. Whatever's going on in your life tend to show up in these standard dreams in symbolic ways and kind of reflect your waking life. So your mood and even what you just watched on TV are likely to be reflected in these dreams. Like a lot of times I fall asleep with the TV on, which I would say myself is a big no-no, but then I'll end up, dreaming about what's on the TV as I'm drifting off to sleep. That's a pretty common thing to happen. So standard dreams like this are very useful when it comes to dream work because they can give you a lot of guidance on your current life situations. They can even show you what you might subconsciously be thinking about something or feeling about something so that you can identify what's going on, how you're actually feeling, and make active changes in order to start manifesting more positive outcomes in your waking life. So if you are practicing the law of attraction and trying to be very aware of your subconscious thoughts, these types of dreams are very helpful as they're reflecting what's going on in your immediate waking life. So you definitely want to pay attention to these types of dreams for a lot of reasons, and definitely if you're trying to work with the law of attraction to make sure that you are on the right path. The next type of dreams on the list are lucid dreams. And lucid dreams are dreams in which we realize that we're dreaming and we might even be able to control those dreams. There are many different techniques that can be used to achieve this state of lucid dreaming, which I cover a lot on my YouTube channel. Lucid dreams can be a lot of fun, and they can actually even be launching pads into astral travel or out-of-body experiences. As far as dream work goes, when we are able to lucidly interact with our dream characters, we are able to learn a lot about what's going on. So when we ask the right questions to these dream characters, the answers can be mind-blowing. Like you can get some deeply insightful stuff here when you're interacting in a lucid dream. And the one most wonderful thing I think about lucid dreaming is that all of this is happening, and since you're in this different state of consciousness, for me at least, it's so much easier to remember these types of dreams than like the standard type of dream. It can also be very therapeutic and beneficial to just set an intention in a lucid dream to just go let loose and have some fun. So you can go on an adventure in a lucid dream without ever even leaving your bed. I mean, that's pretty amazing. My quick advice here for lucid dreaming, though, would be to try to leave your ego at the door. Don't try to control every tiny aspect of the dream if your goal is to learn something about it, like through dream work. So you gain the greatest insights from a lucid dream when you allow that dream to run its course without letting your ego control everything. Otherwise, it's no different than waking life, really, when it comes to dream work. But I'm not saying that to go have fun in your dreams and let loose and go on adventures. This is just if you're actively seeking answers in your dreams through dream work in a lucid dream, try to let the dream kind of show you what it is that you need to know. That's my quick advice there. All right, moving on. The next on the list are hypnagogic and hypnopompic dreams. The hypnagogic and hypnopompic zones are the transitional states that we pass through when we are just falling asleep or just waking up. They're the liminal spaces we move through when we shift between being fully conscious to dreaming and vice versa. These are very powerful spaces where we can find ourselves moving quickly between different scenarios. And we can observe very vibrant colors, very realistic imagery, and even we can talk to interdimensional beings in this state. Stuff happens really fast here. And it's extremely vivid. It's like we are literally in between states of consciousness. So you are awake enough to be very aware about what's going on, but you have one foot in that dream world where crazy imagery is starting to take over. The hypnagogic state is the one when we are just falling asleep, and the hypnopompic state refers to the one where we are just waking up from sleep, usually in the morning. So here's a cool little tidbit. If you can maintain consciousness while you're passing through the hypnagogic zone, you can easily launch yourself into a lucid dream from that state. So there are many ways that we can utilize these liminal states when it comes to dream work. And one of my favorites is to borrow a technique from Salvador Dali, who got a lot of his ideas for his artwork straight from this hypnagogic zone, hypnagogic, hypnopompic. So what he would do was he would like hold a heavy object in his hand. I've heard that it was a key. It could have been something else, but like a metal key in his hand. And then he'd like lay down or like rest like against a chair to fall asleep. And he would set a plate on the floor. So when he fell asleep, his hand would release the key. It would hit the plate on the floor and the sound would like jerk him awake. And since he was coming straight from that liminal space where we have that crazy, wild, vivid, surreal imagery, he had these painting ideas in his head and he would paint them. And he became very famous for this. So that is my favorite thing to do with these states. There are other things that you could do with them. You could treat them like normal dreams. You could ask questions to them and then fall asleep and see what comes up. I think the key, if you really want to use these states though, is to try to wake yourself up kind of like right in the middle of it. Otherwise, they're very easy to forget. And there's actually a whole video on this topic on my YouTube channel if you want to go over there and check that out. I think it's called Unlocking Your Creativity While You're Sleeping, I believe. I'll link to it below. For the next types of dreams in this list, I have lumped 3 of them together, actually. So these are nightmares, night terrors, and sleep paralysis. I'm lumping these 3 together because they are very similar and sometimes happen simultaneously. So nightmares, I'm sure we're all aware of what a nightmare is. It's a dream that can be really scary or disturbing. They can come in many forms, just like a standard dream where your dream is playing out from like daily anxiety that you're going through in waking life, or a situation that's happening in your immediate life. Or they can come in the form of a night terror. And a night terror is a scary or disturbing experience that the dreamer wakes up from kind of feeling like they just had a nightmare, but they can't remember it. I don't experience these. So I found this information online. And if anybody does have night terrors and nightmares and knows the exact difference between them, I would be interested to hear what that is. But from what I can gather from a few different sources is that's the difference. Nightmares feel more like a standard dream, and night terrors are often forgotten about when you wake up. Like you have the feeling of being terrified or scared, but you don't know why because you don't know what you were just dreaming about. And when people experience night terrors, they can wake up sweating and screaming, disoriented, or even like kicking and jumping and jerking out of bed. And I also read that nightmares generally happen during REM sleep, just like our standard dreams, and night terrors usually don't. So there might be a connection there as to how they're slightly different. Then we move on to the joy of sleep paralysis, and that is 100% sarcasm right there. Sleep paralysis sucks. It can be really scary. And I lump it into this category because A, it can be very scary. And it can also be paired with very scary imagery as well. So sleep paralysis tends to happen in the hypnagogic and hypnopompic states when the dreamer is either just drifting off to sleep or just waking up. And in sleep paralysis, your body is asleep while your mind is awake. So this means that the person's lucid and their mind is drifting between asleep and awake, but they're unable to move their body. And that can be terrifying. Sleep paralysis can happen with or without images, like dream imagery, but either way, it can be a scary experience being awake and not being able to move your body. So sleep paralysis, it can actually explain quite a few alien abduction stories where like the alien's standing in your doorway and you can't move. And also like back in older times, there was an old hag that would visit and stand in the doorway and stare at you and you couldn't move. For some reason, these seem to be common themes when it comes to sleep paralysis. You can't move and something's there watching you or hovering over you or sitting on your chest. Those are, I mean, that's why I lumped this with nightmares. Ultimately, a very common scenario with sleep paralysis is that the dreamer is visited by an apparition of some sort while being unable to move or talk in bed, and they ultimately wake up unsure of whether what just happened was real or a dream. With the irony being it was actually both. It was actually both because you were actually unable to move. That's real, but the apparitions are probably a dream. Or I have a theory that they could actually be you could be glimpsing into, alternate dimensions because you are in that liminal state. Not to terrify you even more, but I do have that theory. Nightmares and night terrors can be very helpful when it comes to dream work because they're showcasing something that might need immediate attention. Like never ignore a nightmare, especially if it's recurring. It's trying to tell you something, and whatever it is probably having a negative impact on your waking life. Like there's probably something under the surface that you are battling with. And these nightmares are trying to point this out to you. Like, thanks a lot, nightmares, as if you didn't already know something's going on in your life. Now there's got to be nightmares on top of it. But the good thing is that when we're noticing this, we can actually do some meaningful dream work to try to turn it all around. So when you learn how to do dream re-entry, which is what we'll get into probably the very last video, if not close to last, in this series, you can go into these dreams and face those nightmares and fears head on and write yourself a new ending. And this can be extremely therapeutic and often leads to ending those nightmares for once and for all. Next on the list is recurring dreams. Recurring dreams are dreams that you have multiple times, more than once. And you can also have recurring dream themes. It's not always the same exact dream that you're dreaming, although it can be. A lot of times it's just a recurring theme that you're having, like your teeth falling out or falling or getting chased by someone, getting caught in really high waves. These are some common recurring themes. And some people have had the same recurring dream since childhood. When it comes to dream work, recurring dreams might be showing us a recurring theme in our whole life. So once we can identify what it is they're trying to point out to us, we can shift our waking reality to address this theme, overarching theme of our life, and hopefully begin a whole new chapter in our lives. So as a quick example, some people dream about houses a lot, so if you've been having a recurring dream about houses that are falling apart for years and years and years, you're dreaming this. And then you start to realize these houses represent my body. Oh my God, my body's falling apart. I better do something about that. And you realize what the issue is. If you can realize like I have had this underlying medical problem or something, and then you address it, it really can start a whole new chapter in your life. So if you're having recurring dreams and themes, really try to dig in and figure out what it is that they're trying to tell you. And it could really shape your life and change it into a much better, more positive experience. I'll just also add that recurring dreams might be pointing towards parallel life stuff too. And I'll get into parallel life dreams here in a minute. The next on our list is one of my favorites, and it's daydreams. A typical daydream is a dream that we have while we're awake. So they happen consciously. It's basically when we zone out and we just start daydreaming about things. You get really, really lost in a daydream. And this can be very therapeutic, actually. I look at it very close to meditation. When you're starting to daydream, I try to daydream about good stuff, and I would highly recommend you don't daydream about negative stuff. But as a dream worker, I highly suggest never underestimating the power of daydreaming. When we get lost in a daydream, we can lessen our stress and anxiety levels. We can increase our creativity, and we can even solve problems this way. We can get solutions. Creative solutions can pop into our mind when we allow ourselves to just relax and daydream and, let our minds kind of go wild. We can actually practice some pretty powerful dream work through daydreaming. So definitely pay attention to what you're daydreaming about, because that in itself could be a key to what's going on in your subconscious. When you just let your mind run wild, what pops up, that in itself can tell you stuff. But also, if you're able to zone in on something positive, it can boost your positive emotions, and it can really help you start to manifest positive things in your life. Personally, I don't meditate. I find it very boring, but I do daydream a lot. So this is my way of relaxing and letting go and just imagining a better version of my life, where I can then start to think about, oh, that sounds nice. I really like that. What would I do to bring that into reality? So this is my form of meditation. Next on the list is false awakenings and dreams within dreams. False awakenings are when we wake up from a dream only to realize we're still dreaming. Then we wake up from that dream. And then it's like, oh no, I just woke up. Now I'm really awake. Oh no, now I'm really awake. So this can happen multiple times. There can be many different levels of dream that you're waking up from before you finally wake up into this reality, which seems a little more solid. And to me, this indicates moving through different levels of lucidity. So if you've ever seen the movie Inception, it is about exactly this. I've had this happen a lot. This happens to me all the time. And there's plenty of times where I have found myself running around in a dream, telling everyone I just had a dream about you, or writing down dreams because I thought I just woke up. And then I realize I'm still dreaming. This is still a dream. I even do reality checks in dreams sometimes to be like, see if I'm lucid dreaming or not. And I will always, 98% of the time, I'm a terrible lucid dreamer. 98% of the time, I'll be like, nope, I'm definitely awake. This is definitely 100% reality. And then I'll wake up twice. My dream self is really not good at figuring out what is reality at all. However, this just goes to show how many different levels of lucidity and reality we might actually be living in all at one time, right now. Honestly, this is my favorite rabbit hole to go down. I have a video, if this is your cup of tea, I have a video about this called 7 Reasons Life is a Dream on my channel, and I would highly suggest you go check that out. I will also link to that below. As far as dream work goes, I find dreams like this to be very helpful for me personally, because they help me remember life is very dreamlike, and there is a lot more going on in reality than meets the eye. To me, this is an extremely helpful thing to be aware of and keep thinking about when it comes to overall dream work, in my opinion. Up next on our list of different types of dreams are dreams of parallel lives. I once dreamed an entire lifetime in one night. It was actually pretty heartbreaking. I grew to be an older woman living a full life with a man that I absolutely loved dearly. And when I woke up, I was sad for the life and the people that I had just left behind. I mean, and I've heard stories. Other people have done this. This is not a thing that just happens to me. And I've had other dreams where I was an Indian man living a full life for many weeks. I was going to work, I was feeding my kids, I was going to bed, I was dreaming, I was waking up and talking about these. This is all in one dream. And I am an Indian man. I have a daughter, I have a mom there. And I would wake up and keep doing it like as if this was my life. It was the longest dream ever. And when I was in that dream, I told my dream mom, I was like, I know that when I go to sleep, I become someone else. But I had to remember that this, the Indian man's life, this is the real life, and it's the only one that really matters. That dream was really hard to swallow, actually. Although it's how I feel. It is how I feel in my timeline right now as me about him. So I guess we're even. Another time I dreamed that I was hanging out with two other versions of me. One was slightly more evolved than I am now, and one was slightly less evolved than I am now. And we gave each other some very useful advice from different aspects of ourselves. So these are all examples of parallel life dreams. Dreams like this are similar in a way to dreams within dreams, as they kind of hint at various levels of consciousness and reality. Parallel life dreams are really great when it comes to dream work, because if we can get a glimpse into what our other selves are up to and even talk to them like I did in mine, we can find out ways to help each other out in our own various realities. Imagine if you had a parallel self that knew how to play the piano and you were struggling with that exact thing right now. Like maybe you could tap into that other parallel self who already took all the piano lessons and pick up a tip or two. So another really great thing about parallel life dreams is that we can connect with past and future versions of ourselves. So if there's something that happened in your childhood that you've never seemed to be able to get past, you could actually travel to that past version of yourself in a dream and give that little person the advice that they so desperately needed at the time. And by doing so, you can help your current version of yourself heal in the process. This is something that can be done through a standard dream. If you wanted to like do a dream incubation and ask your dream specifically for this, you could do it that way. But another way you could do it is through shamanic lucid dreaming. And I will touch on that here in just a second. Next up on the list is dreams of the departed and visitation dreams. Have you ever had a dream of a loved one that has passed on that felt so real? Like you could swear you were hanging out with them, like they were just there? When someone close to us passes away, we often have very vivid dreams about them. And these dreams tend to be very emotional, but they're also very common and completely natural. So we are much more open to these other planes of existence when we're out traveling in our dreams. And when you come to this realization, it no longer seems so unusual that we can travel to the places where our loved ones are still alive and very well while we're dreaming. The connections that we form during our lives together here on Earth don't disappear just because somebody dies. I think it's these bonds that we create while we're here on this earth together that can tie us together forever. So some schools of thought believe that when we dream about departed loved ones, they're actually dream characters reflecting pieces of ourselves. So for example, if I dream about my grandpa, I'm actually dreaming about aspects of myself that remind me of my grandpa. And while this can be absolutely true, those dreams would fall under like standard dreams. We cannot rule out that actual visitation dreams happen as well. You could actually be talking to your actual grandpa from some other plane of existence. But how can you tell? How do you actually know if this was a standard dream of grandpa or if grandpa actually came to visit you? And one definitive way to differentiate between these two types of dreams is whether or not you bring back actual real world information from the dream. So if Aunt Judy just gave you her lockbox code and you woke up and used it and it worked, I'd say Aunt Judy probably actually gave that to you. It was probably a real dream. I had a dream like this where I got real world information from a departed friend of mine. And it, even as a dream worker who is really deep into this stuff, it still really surprised me. It really blew my socks off. This is why I love dream work. Like, it doesn't matter how deep you get into it. There's always surprises, bigger surprises around every corner. It's awesome. But another way that you can tell If it's an actual visitation dream, is the quality of the dream, how vivid was it? And at what point in the sleep cycle did it occur? Was it in the hypnagogic state where we're drifting in a shared liminal space? I feel like visitation dreams happen there a lot because it is a shared liminal space. And the benefits of dreams like this are that they can give us the closure that we desperately need with somebody. And sometimes they even give our departed loved ones the closure that they need in order to move on. We can also visit with parallel selves, multidimensional beings, and astral travelers in our dreams. This is the same type of dream where we might end up sharing a shared dream space with someone we know in waking reality, only to wake up and realize we just had the same dream. We visited each other in our dreams. It's pretty crazy what can happen. A lot is possible. Visitation dreams are absolutely amazing when it comes to dream work. They not only can expand our concept of reality, but they can also bring us amazing gifts of healing and comfort as well. Next up is dreams of the future and prophetic dreams. I just want to add here really quickly before we move on that if you go to my website at thedreamworkcoach.com and type in your email address, you can download a free PDF ebook that is a supplement to all of the videos in Dreamwork 101. This will be available after I have posted the last video in the series. So if I just posted this video, which is number 2, it's not going to be available yet. But once I've posted video 9 or 10, however many they're going to be in here, then it will be available for download. So moving on. Dreams of the future and prophetic dreams. We actually all dream about the future all the time. It's hard to believe, though, until you start tracking your dreams in your dream journal. Because once you've collected a decent sized dream collection, you'll start to see it for yourself. You'll be able to have that reference guide to look back when, like, let's say you're having deja vu or you see something on Twitter and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I dreamed about last night. You can go into your dream journal and prove it to yourself. Once you do that a few times, you'll see just how often this happens. And it's actually quite a bit. It happens a lot. We have dreams of the future so often that in dreamwork circles, doing a reality check with your dreams is a standard step in the process of interpreting your dreams. The reality check is designed to help you decipher, is this a dream of the future or not? Is this something that could play out in the future? Is this something I'll need to act on if I don't want it to happen, or continue on the path I'm on because I do want it to happen? So this is probably one of the most important dreams types on this list. Dreams of the future can give us great insights on what we are actively manifesting in our life right now. So if we don't like what we experience in a dream of the future, we have the ability to make changes before that dream manifests in this reality. So I've heard many stories. I have my own personal story about car accidents or life-threatening situations that were avoided because the dreamer was able to recognize a dream of the future and take actions to avoid that disaster. So these are very practical dreams to work with when it comes to dream work. Like I mentioned, a dream of the future can be identified when you run a reality check. And things to look for in a reality check are the location of the dream. Where did it happen? Do you recognize the place from waking reality? Who was in the dream? Do you know these people? Do you recognize the place, the people? What season was it? Were there any strong emotions attached? And was the dream extra vivid or unusual in any way? When you start to look at things like this, and you realize a dream is a lot less symbolic than it is very vivid and realistic, you can start to tell if this might be a dream of the future or just a standard dream. So yeah, they're very invaluable when it comes to dream work, and you definitely want to run those reality checks. So we will get into that later on in this video series, how exactly to go through the process to interpret your dreams and also decipher whether or not they might be dreams of the future. Next on our list of types of dreams is healing dreams. Healing dreams are special in that they bring about some sort of physical or emotional healing, peace, sense of purpose, or balance in your waking life. We can actually ask for our dreams to be healing And more often than not, they oblige. So this could range from wanting to heal a sore throat to asking for help healing a life-threatening illness. Other types of healing might include relief from like past emotional trauma or allowing yourself to experience peace after a broken relationship. There are all kinds of things that we go through where we could all use a little bit of healing. And it's comforting to know that we can simply ask our dreams and they often provide us with the healing that we need. So the benefits are pretty clear when it comes to working with healing dreams as part of your dream work practice. We can specifically ask for dreams like this, and when we experience one, it can have a profound and lasting impact on our waking lives. Next on the list is shamanic lucid dreams and journeys. Shamanic lucid dreams and journeys are very deliberate lucid dreams in which we enter the dream world while fully awake, usually through the help of visualization or music, guided imagery, or sound, and shamanic drumming. It's called a journey because we literally journey through our minds to real places in the multiverse to visit with real people and beings and return with real information and gifts to help ourselves and others achieve some sort of insight, change, or transformation in the real world. Shamanic lucid dreaming is an invaluable asset when it comes to dream work, as you can be extremely clear and focused on what you want to achieve, and you can also summon help from your spirit animals, guides, and even other dreamers who can assist you along your journey. Since you're traveling through real realms out in the astral plane, it is important to psychically protect yourself with positive intentions. There are many practical uses for this because through shamanic journeys, we can prompt physical and psychic healing. We can connect with our ancestors. We can visit astral realms, and we can aid others through various life cycles, including death, and so much more. So this is kind of more advanced level stuff, although I will touch on it very briefly when we get to the section on dream re-entry later on in this series. Second to last on our list of types of dreams is waking dreams and Kairomancy. Waking dreams and Kairomancy are different than daydreaming in that it's less about letting your mind wander on about something you might want to manifest and more about observing the world around you consciously and interpreting the signs and synchronicities that you experience as if they were dream symbols. So the universe speaks to us all the time through signs and synchronicities. When we're awake and aware of this and consciously looking for it, we can not only dream while we're wide awake, but we start to see just how dreamlike life is. A chiromancer is comfortably poised on the thin line between waking reality and the dream world. They have one foot in one world, one foot in the other world. I am going to have a whole video on this later on in this series, so I'll leave it at that for now. But when it comes to dream work, chiromancy is helpful because by playing games with the universe, we can gain more insight into what our subconscious mind is up to. It keeps us connected to the forces of the universe while we're awake. Also, it is very useful when it comes to remembering our dreams. Once you start playing games with the universe, your nighttime dreams become much more vivid. And I think I will be talking about this in the very next video. So for now, moving on. And last but definitely not least on the list is dreams of the multiverse. Oh, dreams of the multiverse have a very special place in my heart. These are my favorite types of dreams. It was a dream like this that changed my life and made me want to become a dream work coach. So I am here doing this right now because of a dream of the multiverse that I had. I added this one in here with its own category because it is a dream like no other. Dreams of the multiverse are definitely unique. And in these dreams of the multiverse, we can experience reality creation firsthand. These dreams completely shatter any earthly concept of space and time. I like to think of these dreams as glimpses into how reality itself works and what it must be like to view it as a multi-dimensional being from a higher dimension. Dreams like this put you directly in the driver's seat, where you can witness every reality ever lived all at one time. From this place of dreaming, you are truly connected to a source much larger than your human self. Dreams like this might actually be taking place in the astral realm, and I think we might actually even be doing work there while our bodies are asleep in bed. I haven't found much on this topic while doing research, but based on my own experiences, these dreams tend to come earlier on in the night before REM sleep kicks in. It's my experience and my theory that while we're in this state, we might be connected to our soul's higher self, and we're able to look in on the bigger picture of reality creation. I had just mentioned it was a dream like this that woke me up and made me decide to become a dream worker and a dreamwork coach. And it is my true wish for humanity that everyone could experience dreams like this, because they are truly transformational and awe-inspiring. They're mind-blowing. So how many of these types of dreams have you experienced? Did I miss any? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to pop on over to the dreamworkcoach.com to download your free ebook that is a supplement to all of the videos in this Dreamwork 101 series. It will be available after I publish the final video of this series. Right now we're on video 2, so after I publish video 9, it will be available. So in the next video in Dreamwork 101, we're going to go over some practical tips on how to remember your dreams and break a dream drought. After that, we'll get into some very practical tips to help you start and keep a dream journal. If you're enjoying this series, please like this video. Also be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you know when the new videos are posted. And until next time, happy dreaming!